So as we kick off the 2021-2022 breeding season for ball pythons, I want to give you guys some reflection and insight from my past year of breeding and give you guys some tips along the way, as well as tell you what my pairings are and what my plans are for this coming breeding season. So stick around. My name is Nick Pulaski. Growing up, I have always had a passion for wildlife, and with that passion, along with my passion of filmmaking, I get taken on some amazing adventures creating wildlife content, getting up close with a variety of incredible animals. So come follow along as I pursue my goals of educating, inspiring, exploring, and conserving wildlife, all while having fun, seeing the beauty in our natural world. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me here today as we get into the 2021-2022 breeding season for ball pythons. So first off, I want to thank everyone that met up with me at the Cleveland Reptile show in the past month. It was so awesome meeting with some of you guys and so cool seeing some of my snakes leave with some of you guys as well too. I hope you guys enjoy them. It's been just such a rewarding process getting back into ball python breeding and seeing everything that goes along with it, seeing the breeders that I have, producing babies and then seeing those go off to other people as well, and really seeing smiles on those people's faces. That's what I really want. That's what's key with all of this. And it's just overall a really rewarding process because I'm breeding things that I want as well too. So overall, it's been a really rewarding season that we just had, and we have a lot of really cool things to come in this coming season, that's for sure. And we're going to go over all of that. And what I want to do with this video is I want to go over tips and kind of reflect on what worked for me in this past season as I got back into ball pythons, and I've kind of been making a listed note to go over for you guys because I want to help you guys, whether this is your first season in breeding ball pythons, whether you're getting back into breeding ball pythons, whether you're a seasoned breeder, whatever. I think these are all very important things and key things that anyone would tell you as well too, along with my own tips that I haven't really seen many people say as well. So that's what we're going to go over in today's video, along with, like I said, the planning of what's to come in this new season. I have my book all set up and everything like that. I wrote this out. This is my breeder book right here. So, wrote out everything. Next year, I think I'm going to go digital. And that's a tip I want from you guys. If you guys do digital sheets on your breeding pairs and stuff like that and planning out everything, that's what I want to learn next, is how to go digital with that stuff. Whether you use like Google Spreadsheet or anything like that, I want to know your opinion. So leave those down in the comments. But like I said, we're going to kick this video off with tips and reflection of this past year. So the first takeaway I would say is starting my production small. So I could have bred a whole bunch of females last year and had a really high quantity of babies, but I don't think going into that, I think that would have been diving way too deep for just someone getting back into it and everything like that, as well as trying to get your name out there. It's all a marketing thing as well too. So if you have all these babies and stuff like that, it may take you a longer period to sell all those babies if you're just fresh and starting out and everything like that, you know. Not everyone's going to be starting on this high pedestal where they're able to sell everything like that. So that's what's going on here. More so, I went to sell more locally and stuff like that, had more success with that. Obviously with the YouTube and everything like that, it's been great to get my name out there, do these videos for you guys, but we haven't reached the national market just yet. We've been more so local, besides Tinley, where we were branching out a little bit further, but we've been, for most of the time, like I said, sales were at Cleveland, Michigan, everywhere like that. So that's the first big thing, is I think starting at a smaller quantity and smaller production yield, that really works for me. And some people will say opposite. I mean, I think it kind of depends on what you're confident in and stuff like that. But I think, especially just starting out, getting your feet wet and everything, that's what's really going to give you the confidence boost and everything like that. Because if something goes wrong with one clutch and you're having issues or whatever, it could happen to multiple. Or if you're having issues selling babies and stuff like that, you're going to be having a really high food bill, that's for sure. So luckily we didn't run into that issue, but like that's what I just kind of prepare for something like that. And then if everything goes well, I know for next year, okay, maybe we'll just up the ante here and see what works and what doesn't. So that's what happened there, and we're going to have a little bit more of a production this year. Nothing too crazy. We're not going to max out or anything like that. I want this to be a gradual stair-step kind of thing. So that's what we're going to do. I'm always thinking ahead, having short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. So the next tip that I have for everyone is reinvesting your profits. So I didn't take a paycheck for any of the snakes. I didn't profit off of any of that. I more so just put all that money back into the collection, whether it was the food bill, whether it was reinvesting in different animals like the Clown Pie Project and everything like that. That's all what my money went into, and I knew going into it what I wanted and having a game plan there, and that's what works there. You don't necessarily need the game plan, but I think reinvesting your profits early on And I mean during too and stuff like that, kind of having a set amount of money that you want to reinvest into your business. That's something that's very key, and I think that's kind of how you progress and you grow and everything like that. Get new bloodlines in, get new genes in. That's what's really important, and overall that's how you get the business to grow. So that is the next tip that I have for you guys, and I think for the next couple seasons we're definitely going to be seeing that as well, where I'm just going to be reinvesting the money into it. That way it's not making a dent on me or anything like that, but it's its own separate entity that it can rely and self-fund itself. And that's what I exactly did, and couldn't have had a better outcome there. So like I said, we got some amazing new genes to be working with, and we have the collection completely covered in terms of the food bill, so everything's great there. So very little money coming out of my pocket there when you do those kind of things as well and you plan accordingly. So really happy with that. So reinvesting, that's the next tip that I have for you guys. And going off the reinvesting, it's also about investing in projects that you want to work with. So if you're working with a project and you're showing that you're really passionate about that project and you're really going for things that you want to do and work with and everything like that, people see that. People know that you're in it for the quality and everything like that, and you're really trying to be in the game for making the most amazing animals you possibly can and stuff like that, and enjoying playing mad scientist at the same time, right? So that's the key thing, is investing into projects that you want to work with. Like I said, that's what I did. So I love pied stuff. I think that's going to be the pinnacle of what I work with down the line, is a lot of different pied combinations and working with that really heavily and really producing some high quality pieds all across the spectrum of different things. So that's my main goal. So I wanted to also get into clowns. So clown pied, that's a perfect gateway, and that's a really hot gateway as well too. So I figured that's the next move right there. Then also too, mixing in a whole bunch of different genes into that project along with other side projects that I'm planning of the pie gene and maybe some of the clown gene as well. I'll be dabbling in a little bit more as the years go on. But so overall, the pie gene is my favorite. That's my pinnacle, like I said. And I think just adding a whole bunch of different recessive genes and adding a whole bunch of different dominant genes and co-dominant genes to those into the mix, that's going to be what's going to be my bread and butter. Obviously too, we're going to be producing other things besides pies, but that's the main thing that I really like to focus on and really want to fine tune, is working with a whole bunch of different pied projects, because I just think they're so amazing. So that'll be my ultimate goal, is to be working with some really high quality pieds and doing some really amazing work and doing some really cool things with them. I'm not necessarily going for world's first, I'm just going for really quality animals that I really like and I would like to see visually. So that's what we want to do. And it's going to be really hard, let me tell you, to not be keeping every single baby back. Once I see all these pieds, I'm going to be like, oh man, I got to figure out which ones I'm going to keep and everything like that, because you can't keep them all, you know, you got to make a business here. So it'll be really tough, but I'm super excited, and I'm going to be super jealous too of whoever gets a hold of some of these animals. But that would be the next tip I have, is investing into animals that you want to work with. And going off of the investing thing, you have to think down the line. Like I said, you have to think long-term goals. So I'm thinking more so like 4 to 8 year process down the line, what I can do with these certain animals. I mean, I have my 2023 and 2024 plans in the works, and I have something a little bit finalized, but obviously those plans will change and stuff like that. It's easy that something like that could happen, but you want to have a good idea of where you want to go in terms of how you want to process this as things go on, as your babies get older and stuff like that. Obviously females take 2 years to go, and males only take a year. So just trying to get into the swing of things as the years progress on. That's also what you want to do, is you want to plan out what you want to do in terms of the years as the years gradually go on. So yeah, I guess we're kind of leading into the planning kind of thing. So like I said, 4 to 8 years of planning, I would say, for in terms of your genetics and stuff like that, getting a good idea and kind of like a rough idea, I should say, because you're not going to probably keep all of your plans for like 4 years from now finalized. Things can change and everything like that. You may have some new ideas as things progress on, but getting a rough idea of the direction you want to go, that's always helpful, and that's where I'm kind of at. But there's other things you want to plan too. You want to plan in terms of your marketing strategy, how you want to market things, how you want to get going with things and everything like that. Like I said, my outlets are going to be basically social media and meeting people in person. That's another huge thing. I mean, I know some people are kind of afraid of public speaking or meeting people and stuff like that, and that's totally okay. There are ways to work around that, but there's got to be a marketing strategy for sure. I mean, you got to be showing off your animals, you got to be showing off your work, you got to be showing off what kind of stuff you want to bring to the table. So that's going to be one key thing. And planning also too, where you want to vend. If you're going to be a vendor or if you're going to be selling solely online and stuff like that, you want to have a way to plan out how you're going to be going about that. So you want to make sure you have a for sure proper way to know how to ship an animal, as well as you want to know for sure where you want to vend as well too. So having all the supplies that go into that, having the tables booked, everything like that down the line, that's something as you get closer to production and stuff like that, having a better idea of where you want to go, how you want to do things, that's very important. Along with that, you also want to be planning and budgeting. That's a very important thing. So you also want to be budgeting a food bill. So you want to be budgeting for your main breeders and stuff like that as they eat and they need the calories for breeding. And it's a very, very heavy food bill as the season goes on for breeding, and then the off season as well too. So, but you also want to be budgeting as well as when you have the babies. So you also want to be budgeting for mouths you don't even have necessarily yet. So you want to be planning ahead and having money set aside so you could make sure that you're feeding these babies for, 2, 3, 4 months at a time, even longer sometimes too, so like I said, I still have 2 pastel lessers still here that haven't sold yet, so always have to take into account them and make sure that we have everyone fed and healthy. Now besides that, and this kind of intertwines with the starting with a smaller production, is you also want to budget your space, because like I said, I only have X amount of room in here. So if I did plan to do like a whole wide scape of breeding and plan to do all my females and stuff like that, we're talking about 6 to 8 babies in a clutch on average. That is a lot of babies. We're talking about 24 to probably like 45 babies in total. That's a lot. So that is where you have to plan, like, do I have enough room for that? Do I have to build another rack? And that was kind of what I was teetering on. Obviously, I still have this rack right here that I've been using as a hatchling rack, and I can even add more shelves right here or do whatever, and then I can make that something else. But this is going to eventually turn into a holdback rack. So as this turns into a holdback rack, I need to find space for my upcoming babies and stuff like that. So next year, we're going to be needing a baby rack for sure, and then we're going to take into account how much space we need for everyone there. But these are all things that you want to take into account. And also, if there are any tips that you guys also want to leave that I haven't said, definitely leave those down below, because we're all trying to help each other out here. So definitely leave those down below. We're all in this together, so we all want to do the best for our animals. So it's a very important thing to help each other out here. So if you guys have any tips that you want to leave that I haven't said or anything like that, definitely leave those down below. And going back to we're all trying to help each other out here, is asking questions and helping people out and talking to other breeders and stuff like that and getting tips from them. That is all important things. Yes, everyone has their own different style of how they do things and everything like that. But let me tell you, I mean, if I didn't have the resources that I had, I mean, it would be definitely something that would be more difficult. And I always think that I'm so thankful for the people that I have in my life that are there for me, and just a phone call or a text away that can help me in a bind or anything like that. So I'm very thankful for that. And I think that's something too that everyone needs to be getting into, is connections and helping people out and asking questions. There's no dumb questions. If you're afraid to ask a question, that's probably not a person that you probably want to go to if they're going to shun you and make you feel like crap. So definitely don't think like that or anything like that. Always ask questions. You can always come to me for any questions if you have any. If I don't know the answer, I'll make sure that I give you the right answer. I'll find someone that knows it. So I never want to give anyone the wrong information ever. So that's always my policy with things. So like I said, if you ever need anything, always ask someone. It's very important for any of this. And in terms of anything with animals, I think that's always a very important thing, to kind of meet up with people and ask questions that have been doing this for a while and get some really solid information about the animal, about the care, about anything, about the breeding process, a whole bunch of different things. It makes you a better animal caregiver and a better breeder as well too. So definitely keep that in mind as well. But that's basically all the tips that I wrote down. And like I said, if there's any more that I missed or anything that you want to give, like I said, please provide them down below in the comments. Let everyone know. We want to make this video as informative as possible as we get into this next breeding season and breeding seasons beyond. This is all very important stuff. So that's basically all the tips that I wrote down. If, like I said, please provide any information or tips down below if you have some that I didn't say or anything like that. Like I said, we're all trying to help each other out here, so it'd be beneficial if you did that, and we would appreciate that. This video is supposed to help people for this coming breeding season along with the breeding seasons to come. So all very important stuff. But like I said, I want to also go over plans for this coming breeding season for me. So a lot of things that we're doing this year are going to be pretty similar, I would say, but the only difference is I don't need the holdbacks this time. So for example, like the pie to black pastel albino, that's going to be basically everyone, female, male, any of those guys. Hopefully we'll get a whole bunch of black pastel double head for albino pieds that you guys can pick up. So both on female and male spectrum, that's going to be one thing. And then we're going back into the Blue-Eyed Lucy project. Like I said, it was a real bummer last year when we hit a Blue-Eyed Lucy, but it was stillborn in the egg. I was super crushed about that. But this year, what we're going to be doing is we're breeding Mojave to lesser. And I mean, my Mojave has some really nice gold blushing on it. So just carrying that gene on and stuff like that. Hopefully we hit on a blue-eyed Lucy that we can hold back, and hopefully we hit not only on just one but a couple. But regardless, Mojaves and Lessers, those are really, really nice, and I hope to hit a whole bunch of those guys. So the Lesser female, she's really big, and she produced some really quality animals last year, and I'm honestly shocked that the pastel Lessers haven't sold yet. I mean, I thought that those things were going to be the first thing, not gonna lie, to sell, and ironically that's just not how it was. I mean, you can assume one thing and then the other thing happens, right? So that's what's going on there. And then in terms of everything else, we have the Super Pastel Lesser to the Spider. We're going to be doing that combination again, as well as we'll be doing the Banana Leopard Pied to the Het Pied female that I have. So we're going to hopefully get some pieds this year. We didn't get any pied production last year. I think the female just kind of held out last year, and that's totally fine. That kind of happens too. You always got to take that into account, but hopefully this year we land some pieds, and I think that would be awesome. So maybe we'll hold back one or two, but other than that, I mean, everything else will be basically fair game. So really exciting stuff there. Let me know, like I said, your pairings, anything like that about the ball python season for you, or any of your breeding seasons, whether it's like geckos, anything like that. I want to hear it all. So definitely reach out, leave a comment for anything. I definitely want to hear all of your guys' stories and your plans. I think it's very exciting. This is definitely an exciting time of the year when you're playing Mad Scientist, right? So I'm seeing a whole bunch of awesome production going from some other breeders as well too right now, and kudos to them, because that is some really cool things, and they are producing some fire. There's some really cool combinations I've seen this year. But that is basically all I have for this video today. I hope it was informative to you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you could do me a couple favors, if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it, as well as hit the notification bell so you know when I upload. Make sure to also check me out on my social media, because we'll be posting some really exciting things as the season progresses on there. And until next time, we will see you guys soon.